John Christensen, Chancellor of the University of Nebraska at Omaha, delivered his annual State of the University address today. We'll give you the key points from his address and speak with UNO's interim Senior Vice Chancellor. Good afternoon, I'm John Carter.
And I'm Jessica Ritchie. The Keystone Pipeline has caused quite the commotion in the state's capital and throughout Nebraska. We'll show you both sides of the issue coming up. You're watching the Omaha News.
This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
It was a special morning at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Chancellor John Christensen delivered his first State of the University address since the school became a Division I school and a member of the Summit League. Dustin Kocha is standing by in the newsroom where the speech was given this morning. Dustin?
Thanks, John. Chancellor Christensen quoted the lyrics from the famous Bob Dylan this morning, saying, "The times, they're a-changin'." So I stopped by to see exactly what changes are in store for the university.
Chancellor John Christensen's State of the University speech highlighted the great expectations that he and others have for the university.
We examined our role and our mission in a new and perhaps brighter light. We began to think big and envision a new horizon for our institution.
Many of the university's buildings have undergone remodeling and restructuring over the past 2 years in efforts to better accommodate the university going to Division I.
To date, we have added 832,000 additional square feet of new space, and we have renovated or repurposed 758,000 square feet.
The university had an enrollment of around 17,000 people in 1993, and Christensen hopes to reach 20,000 by 2020. But is it too much too soon?
You have to fill a lot of faculty lines with this growth, and that's what the university should be doing, trying to have quality jobs for quality teaching.
Christensen said that there's been about $29 million in donations for faculty and support, and about $22.5 million for students. UNO hopes to keep students that start their academic careers at the school, increase graduation rates, and attract students with credits from elsewhere with no degrees.
Through online, which I've been involved in helping support faculty in their development of online programs, we have some opportunities nationally and internationally with our sister universities.
Now, the Chancellor concluded his speech today by saying, "Trust me, I know UNO, we have the right stuff to finish this journey. But UNO's come a long way in the last 2 years, or last 2 decades, but Chancellor Christensen made it clear there's still plenty of room for growth." Reporting from the Strauss Performing Arts Center, this is Dustin Kocha for the Omaha News. Back to you, Jessica.
We're joined now in the studio by Dr. B.J. Reed, Interim Senior Vice Chancellor at UNO. Dr. Reed, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
All right, Dr. Reed, the Chancellor spoke a lot today about the growth of the university, both physically and academically. What new programs can we expect to see this year and in the future?
Well, a lot of it is taking existing programs and actually expanding their capacity. Online education, for example, at UNO has grown 30% a year for the last 2 or 3 years. We see a lot of potential in growing the online aspects of our programs. We also have a new doctoral program coming online very soon. We also see some real opportunities to find niche markets for students that will fit areas that other campuses and institutions in the area don't provide.
All right. Chancellor Christensen expects enrollment to grow as well. What are the plans for housing these students and for helping them park?
We hope to have about 20% of our students living on campus, and that means that we'd probably add at least another 1,000 beds to the campus by 2020 to meet that $20,000 student population.
Okay. And I understand UNO recently became a doctoral research institute. What was required for the university to achieve that?
We had to have a number of doctoral programs in place, and then we had to have a lot of doctoral graduates that come out of those programs. So the fact that we have 5 or 6 doctoral programs now, and we had our first doctoral program freestanding in 1995, so we've really grown that capacity, and then we have a number of doctoral graduates out of those programs, and those are 2 really key criteria. The other is research, external research funding, and we've also grown in that area.
Okay. And Chancellor Christensen spoke of UNO's commitment to service learning. Tell us about the new Community Engagement Center. How are plans coming for that?
The Community Engagement Center is really one of the most exciting things we're doing because there's nothing quite like it in the country. And our goal is to have the dollars lined up for this so that we can have it open before the end of 2013. And it will serve service learning, it will have nonprofit organizations, it will open the doors to the campus, to the community. It's very exciting.
Okay. And achievements UNO has accomplished this year, awards we've received?
Yes, we've gotten a presidential citation for community engagement this year. We've got a number of other recognitions. We have programs that are ranked in the top 10 or 15 in the country in public administration, criminology, criminal justice, and a lot of other areas. So we've done very, very well.
All right. Dr. Reed, thank you for joining us again today.
Happy to be here.
All right. And if you'd like more information on these new goals or any of the new projects you can expect to see on campus at UNO, log on to the university's website at www.unomaha.edu.
Nearly a month ago, Harvey Perlman, Chancellor at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, gave his State of the University address as well as his future goals for the university. Like UNO, it's UNO's first year as a member of a new conference. In comparison with UNO's goals, Perlman wanted UNO attendance to grow 20% to 30,000 students. UNO looks to have 20,000 students, a 33% increase. Both universities are working to increase the amount of research done on campus. UNO Chancellor Christensen said this morning that UNO has achieved classification as a doctoral research institution. He also added that new renovations and additions are in the works for the campus. These projects include a child care facility, a biomechanics lab, and a new addition to the Weber Fine Arts Building. Now with the new Division I status, he expects more and more UNO sports, mainly hockey due to their new conference, to be televised in the future. UNO celebrated homecoming last week, and its events were a bit different than usual.
This year's game was on ice rather than a field. We'll take you to these events after the break. You're watching the Omaha News.
UNO Television. Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry. Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. Student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Feed your brain with original programs from the Knowledge Network. TKN combines the resources of educational and television experts from UNO Television, Omaha Public Schools, Westside Community Schools, Metropolitan Community College, and Creighton University. TKN members produce a variety of programming with collaboration from students working in front of and behind the camera. The Knowledge Network. Feed your brain by watching Cox 17 and 18.
Most local television news only gives you brief headlines about issues that may be important to you. But for more than 10 years, only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information about issues that really matter to Nebraskans. I'm Kathy Wyatt, and it's my privilege to present those issues for your consideration. Join me on the campus of UNO in a program we call Consider This, every week on the Knowledge Network.
Homecoming has been a tradition of schools for over a century. Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm Jessica Ritchie.
And I'm John Carter. This year marks the 80th year that UNO has celebrated homecoming. Throughout its history, homecoming is centered around football. However, UNO's homecoming this year had a unique twist, a hockey game. Reporter Josh Buda has more on the story.
The 2011 UNO homecoming celebration begins with the biggest parade the campus has seen in years.
It's more than double in size this year, which is awesome. Last year we had about 19 participants. This year we had over 50. Like always, we have all the Greek organizations involved and several student organizations involved on campus. This year we invited a lot more community members to participate. We had a bunch of Shriners there. They brought Corvettes, they brought their mobile train, some clowns. We also had the Red Cross. We had multicultural groups from the community.
And once inside the Sapp Fieldhouse, UNO Maverick fans enjoy a well-deserved tailgate party. But for the first time in UNO history, it's linked to a hockey game instead of a football game.
Well, I think everybody's excited about Maverick hockey. We've got a team that's a top 15 rated hockey team this year. I think the potential for our team to do really well this year is great. And so to start the hockey season on homecoming Saturday, it's kind of a fun idea.
In previous years, UNO Maverick fans would go from the Sapp Fieldhouse to the football field. But this year, they'll go to the Century Link Center instead. And that's where the UNO Mavericks went on to beat the University of British Columbia 4-1. Making this homecoming one to remember. For the Omaha News, I'm Josh Buda.
Homecoming celebrations weren't restricted to Saturday. Throughout the week, the campus hosted a carnival, magicians and hypnotists, a decorating contest, and even a flash mob in front of the Student Center by the homecoming candidates.
If you weren't able to make it to the homecoming game Saturday night, you won't have to wait very long to see some hockey action. To kick things off, the Mavs skated to a 4-1 victory over the University of British Columbia on Saturday. The Mavericks returned to the ice this Friday at the Century Link Center to compete in the annual Mutual of Omaha Stampede. The Mavs face off against Mercyhurst Friday night, and on Saturday night they take on either Colgate or Robert Morris. UNO has won the event the last 4 years.
Carnivals, a parade, entertainers, all part of homecoming week at UNO. All these events led up to the hockey game and, afterwards, a homecoming dance. The dance was put on by Maverick Productions at the conclusion of the hockey game Saturday night. Throughout the night, games were available to play, and for each game won, that person will receive an entry into a raffle for an iPod Nano. Admission was free to everyone, including non-UNO students.
The UNO Maverick hockey team has been selected to compete in a tournament in 2012. This is the 16th year of the annual Icebreaker Tournament. The tournament this year features UNO, Army, Notre Dame, and the University of Maine, all of which have played in this tournament in the past. You can catch all the action by heading down to the Sprint Center in Kansas City on October 12th and 13th of next year.
Coming up, residents in the Sandhills are voicing their opinions on the proposed Keystone Pipeline. We'll take you to the front lines of the debate.
Also coming up, snakes, iguanas, turtles, and more. It's all part of a recent reptile expo. Stick with us.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is where you'll find unlimited possibilities. At UNO, our 15,000 students are learning what they need to know to join the workforce of tomorrow. With 200 programs, students participate in innovative academics and are engaged in dynamic campus and community life. The University of Nebraska at Omaha. Step up to the metropolitan advantage at bmav.com.
Breathtaking. Electrifying. Inspiring. Award-winning documentaries produced by UNO Television offer you a window on the history of Omaha and the world. Beginning with the acclaimed 2-hour documentary on the history of Omaha, If These Walls Could Speak, UNO Television has developed a reputation for producing high-quality programs that explore, educate, and enlighten. These outstanding productions can be part of your home video collection. For information about purchasing VHS or DVD copies, call 554-2516 or visit our website at unotv.unomaha.edu.
Tune in to Big Red Wrap-Up each week for Husker football analysis and insights. Tuesday night at 7 Central Time, only on NET1 and NET HD, Nebraska's home for sports.
You're watching the Omaha News.
Before it's had the opportunity to create new jobs, the Keystone XL pipeline has been creating a lot of controversy. Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm John Carter.
And I'm Jessica Ritchie. Last week, the U.S. Department of State held 2 public forums in Nebraska regarding the proposed Keystone Pipeline extension. Around 1,300 people attended the public forum at Lincoln's Pershing Auditorium, over 200 of which signed up to speak. A second forum in Atkinson drew a crowd of over 700, with over 160 people voicing their opinions to the State Department.
These forums are an opportunity to let the State Department hear from people about their opinion on whether or not granting this permit would be in the national interest.
If approved, the project would cost approximately $7 billion and extend over 1,500 miles from Alberta, Canada to Port Arthur, Texas. Much of the controversy over the pipeline regards its route through the Nebraska Sandhills and the Ogallala Aquifer. In early September, Governor Heinemann asked the Obama administration to consider an alternate route. The environment is a hot-button issue, and when it comes to the Trans-Canada Pipeline, this is an issue that is sure to bring emotions to the forefront. Jacob York takes us to the debates.
Construction of the Trans-Canada Pipeline will disrupt the grass here on the Sandhills, grass that the ranchers depend on to feed their cattle.
The sandhills are a vegetated sand dune formation. They're grass stabilized, and it's taken 10,000 years for the grass to stabilize that sand. And the way we make a living there is, our cattle eat grass. That's all they eat. And so if we don't have the grass, we don't have anything.
Water is the lifeblood of our state, but it's also the lifeblood of our industry. Our farmers depend on this water not only to quench their thirst, but also to irrigate cropland and produce food for the nation.
What we're trying to do here is to save the water, the sandhills.
The environment will be protected. This project would not be allowed if there was any concern about the kind of widespread, wholesale environmental damage that a lot of the debate ends up seeming to revolve around.
Well, anything man builds, you may have a problem with. But with the proper planning and design engineering, you should take that to a very, very minimum.
The environmental impact study says that there would be minimal damage if a spill were to occur in this area. It's just not something that we're willing to risk. When it comes to protecting the Ogallala Aquifer, even a minor risk is not something that we're willing to accept.
With more on the story, here's Jessica Ritchie.
Besides the environment, the State Department is also considering issues of job creation, foreign relations, and landowners' rights.
Really anything else that we find or that people feel relates to whether or not it's in the national interest.
Those opposed to the pipeline say the construction will only create temporary jobs. But Clay Basinger, a union laborer and organizer, says he isn't worried.
Construction work is always temporary. When we go from this job, after we're done with this, we will go to another job.
Danny Hendricks, business manager for Pipeliners Union Local 798, says long-term jobs will be created on the maintenance and operational side. He also says building the pipeline will help free us from dependence on OPEC oil.
When we buy from the OPEC countries, we continue to transfer the wealth from this country to a foreign country that does not supply a single job, does not supply any tax revenue.
But Graham Christensen with the Nebraska Farmers Union says foreign company Trans-Canada isn't making any friends in Nebraska.
Well, imagine being a private landowner in the United States of America, and all of a sudden you have a foreign company come in and say, if you don't sign this easement, then we're going to condemn your land with the power of eminent domain.
Both Christensen and Basinger agree that this shouldn't be an us versus them issue.
If we want a long-term job scenario in the United States and get this economy back, ag and labor need to work together to create it, no doubt about it.
We have to look at both sides, and we have to compromise on both sides to get this done.
The last public forum on the Keystone XL pipeline will be held in Washington, D.C. on October 7th. There is still time to visit the State Department's website at keystone-xl.state.gov to voice your comments on this issue.
The Keystone XL pipeline, if approved, will stretch from Canada to Texas. That's a lot of ground to cover and several state lines to cross. Other states are having public hearings similar to those held in Nebraska. In late September, a hearing was held in Port Arthur, Texas. 500 people attended the hearing, most of them supporting the construction of the pipeline. Protests have occurred throughout the U.S. and Canada, including the arrest of 1,200 people outside the White House in August and September. After the break, if you're a fan of animals, specifically reptiles, you're not going to want to miss this.
We'll take you to a recent reptile expo held right here in Omaha. You're watching the Omaha News.
Watch ICU Learning English on the Knowledge Network on Cox 17.
If you're an Omaha kid feeling tired and slow, here's the numbers you ought to know. Eat 5 fruits and veggies every day. Drink 4 glasses of water, okay? Eat 3 foods from the dairy scene. And just 2 hours in front of the screen. Now take 1 hour to move around. And that's the Healthy Kids Countdown.
For games, ideas, and other fun stuff about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Visit livewellomahakids.org. But don't stay long.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vehicle's now going supersonic.
When you want to go above.
It was something new.
Or reach beyond.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
When you want to peer inside.
There's something wrong here. This isn't normal.
Will it seem almost impossible? Or push the limit?
Large tornado! It's humongous! You need to get out now!
When you want to dive deep.
These divers are like astronauts.
Our human nature is to push into places that we don't know about.
Or go to the edge.
There are other worlds out there.
We don't know exactly what we're going to find.
When you want to find new frontiers.
I was truly astonished.
You just don't ever know.
Nova.
Wednesdays on NET1.
Slithering, slimy, scaly creatures invaded Omaha last week for the Nebraska Reptile Breeders Reptile Expo. From garter snakes to lizards and even turtles, Nick Freeman shows us all of the animals at this year's expo.
This past Sunday, the Nebraska Herpetological Society held the Nebraska Reptile Breeders Expo.
Well, what this is a reptile expo. So there are tons of breeders across the country. They all come to Omaha for this show.
Some people come in here looking for a specific kind of snake. Others looking just to see what's out there.
Most of the vendors have spent the majority of their lives around reptiles.
But I've been breeding snakes for 15 years. I've been keeping snakes for 20. Well, longer than that. I caught a garter snake when I was 9 years old and kind of bloomed from there. But I love it. I mean, my entire life is dominated by reptiles.
The reptile breeders enjoy the expo as much as the visitors.
The last few times that I've been to a show like this, I've actually taken home a few. I see something I like and I buy it.
I love coming here and selling my stuff, meeting new people, talking to people about reptiles, educating people about reptiles, how to better take care of their reptiles, how to appreciate them in the wild.
A key aspect of the show is education.
I think that if you fear snakes, then everything that you think you know about snakes is wrong.
The Nebraska Reptile Breeders Expo has been Nebraska's largest captive-born only show since 1993. For the Omaha News, I'm Nick Freeman.
You better watch where that snake goes, Nick. If you'd like more information on the Nebraska Reptile Breeders Expo and any other events they hold throughout the year, log on to their website at www.nebherp.org. The next Reptile Expo takes place next spring on April 15th.
It feels a lot like summer outside, and when the temperatures get unseasonably warm, more and more people head outside for one last glimpse of nice weather before cooler weather sets in. That's what visitors at the Henry Dorley Zoo were doing last weekend. Unfortunately, last weekend was the last chance to see the Scott Aquarium before closing for renovations. When the renovations are complete, there will be new exhibits including new aquariums, a new conference and education center, and an exhibit dedicated solely to jellyfish. So far, the zoo has raised just over $2 million for the estimated $7 million renovations. The project is expected to be completed in April of next year.
If you like board or card games, then you'll love this. There's something for everyone at NewCon, a gaming convention recently held at the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs. If you're not sure what a gaming convention is, Here's your first-hand look. Most people love playing games, whether it be board games or card games. And in the Omaha area, there's a non-profit organization that's bringing people together just to have a good time.
NewCon is a convention of all different kind of games. Anything that's not gambling is pretty much fair game for NewCon. The people that you see behind me who are playing games are also the people who decide what's going to play, because they volunteer to run the games that they enjoy playing most.
But there's one thing that NewCon tries to focus on more than anything else.
The reason we are here is to support the positive aspects of games. Social, educational, getting people to learn to work together.
Meeting people, sometimes some of these people I don't see except at NewCon, because they come from all over the country, some folks. A lot of a sense of community. I love just hanging out with people who have the same interests, same passions, so that's pretty cool.
NewCon is a great way to meet new people, learn new things, and have a blast doing it. There's something for everyone here.
NewCon has hosted a gaming convention in the metro area since 1990, which is one of the longest running conventions in the Midwest. If you'd like more information on NewCon, visit your website at nuke-con.com. Thanks again for choosing the Omaha News. Looking for more? Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Omaha News or search for Omaha News on Facebook.
While you're there, you can check out the news stories our reporters covered, submit story ideas, or give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you. From all of us here at the Omaha News and UNO Television, have a good night.
Hi, I'm Meshach Taylor, actor and public television supporter, encouraging you to become a fan of UNO Television. Located on the University of Nebraska at Omaha campus, UNO Television is a unit of the College of Communication, Fine Arts, and Media. Student crew members are trained and placed in broadcasting positions that give them real-world experience. Many students move seamlessly into jobs within the local television market. UNO Television, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Feed your brain with original programs from the Knowledge Network. TKN combines the resources of educational and television experts from UNO Television, Omaha Public Schools, Westside Community Schools, Metropolitan Community College, and Creighton University. TKN members produce a variety of programming with collaboration from students working in front of and behind the camera. The Knowledge Network. Feed your brain by watching Cox 17 and 18.